Right. Good day, everyone. My name is Lysca Welcome-Tenia, and I'm a speech language pathologist. And I am here today with my friend Laurisa Lugo. Say hi, Laurisa. And
Hi.
Larissa is a student SLP. And we're just here today to chat with you guys about communication boards, what they are and, how we can use them to address various communication needs. I know this video is primarily geared towards parents, but remember to keep in mind communication boards can be used for children as well as adults. And we're just going to give you at the end of this, we're going to give you some takeaway options with different things that you can use for your loved one or for your clients. All right. Now, communication boards are a type of augmentative or alternative communication device. And they're very, there's a wide span, there's a wide range. It can be very simple, homemade boards, or they can even be more complex and computerized. Now, there are a number of boards. They can be used with manipulatives. They can be used with pre-printed materials, that sort of thing. And what we're going to do is we're just going to have a brief chat. Larissa is going to take us through a few of these options and show you how we can integrate it into your person or person's communication regime. All right. So take it over, Larissa.
Thank you. All right. So communication boards are quite multifunctional and they are customizable. So you can use them for a range of different things. You can use them for asking and answering questions, for expressing needs and wants. You can use it to offer a choice to the communicator, to indicate a decision, or to show a schedule. So I'm just going to take you through some of the different types, the different configurations that you can have, and hopefully that's helpful for you. So in terms of what type of words you choose for a communication board, it is, like I mentioned before, very customizable. And very simply, it contains words that you think the person using it may need to communicate. So they look different depending on the needs on language skills of the individual using them. And it can be as simple as a yes or no board like this one to give the individual the opportunity to answer yes or no questions, or they can be a little more complex. So for an individual who has emerging language skills, they may use a small grid with core words, and core words are just words that you use a lot of the time in your communication. Words like help, more, want, and things like this on the screen here. And you teach an individual how to use a communication board through modeling. So, for example, if you think that the individual is trying to communicate that they are hungry and they want to eat, you can ask a question like, what do you want? And then you point to eat. So you touch eat and give them that model. And consistent modeling is what provides the foundation for an individual learning how to use a communication board. And when working with communication boards, we typically start at the individual word level. So like I would have just mentioned, you ask the question and you just touch eat. So you start at that one word level and then you build up. So you can start, you at a more advanced stage, you can touch I want and eat. So you have a more complete sentence. For some words, it might be difficult to find a picture that has a one-to-one relation with the word. So for example, a word like more, there isn't a straightforward picture that represents more in the way that there is one for a word like ball. And this board actually uses the American Sign Language sign for more. So that is an option. With communication boards, it's not really necessary to get bogged down with the exact picture that you use. But if you are using a picture like one like that, that's more abstract, make sure that you use the same picture across all boards if you have multiple boards for the sake of consistency. Right. So for an individual who has a more robust vocabulary, they may need a communication board with an expanded grid like this one, containing a multitude of buttons. Someone who can read and spell efficiently may also have an alphabet where they can use the letters to type out the message that they want to send. And as you can see, this board is a lot more complex than the one I would have shown previously. It offers a wider choice of pronouns. So you have 2 rows here with pronouns. You have a lot more verbs in this one, and you have adjectives as well in this one, and conjunctions. So with this board, the individual can send a lot more complex messages. Depending on the user, the grid size, like you would have just seen, can vary a lot. So with this one, you had 6 buttons. With this one, you have over 50. If the individual is using the board in one setting, like for example, lunch or around eating, you may use a simpler one like this, because having one like this in that one setting can actually reduce the efficiency of the board in terms of finding the symbols that you need to touch in order to communicate what you need. If the individual is using the communication board for their primary form of communication across many settings, more buttons or a more complex board like this one would be more appropriate for that individual to use. You may also notice that the board has a specific structure. So this board is color-coded and grouped together. So the orangey ones, you have like your persons, your pronouns, what you would use for the subject of the sentence. And then the pink one is your action words. And then you have this one here offers you the option to ask questions, and you have your like adjectives in a different color. And the way it's laid out, it's like according to a sentence structure. So you have your subject, your verb, and then you can make the sentence a little more complex. So that's typically how the board is set up. You can also have a communication board that's customized to suit a theme or location. So these 2 examples here may be useful for an older adult, like in a medical setting, where you have things that they may need frequently in that environment. So you may have a wheelchair, oxygen, inhaler, a nurse, and you can also give this option here for them to communicate how they feel in terms of, I feel sick, I feel short of breath. So these 2 may come in handy in that type of environment. In terms of creating a communication board, you don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel in terms of you finding pictures and putting the board together on your own, although that is an option. There are a lot of resources and websites that offer the option to generate your own board. So these 4 here, Board Maker, Chat Editor, Seaboard, and Picto4me, these 4 sites offer free resources so you can generate your own customized board. And then these next 3, Lesson Picks, Symbol Sticks, Prime, and Smarty Symbols, they do offer the same option, but you have to pay for those services. There are also sites that offer pre-made communication boards like Talk-to-Me Technologies, Assistiveware, and the Aphasia community via Lingraphica. These offer free pre-made boards like the ones I was showing you previously, where you can go and download and find one that suits your personal needs. Right. Lysca, do you have anything else to add?
All right. Well, thank you very much, Laurisa. And what I want us to remember is communication is, the essence of life. A lot of communication happens non-verbally, and we just wanted to emphasize that there are so many different ways that we can reach out and encourage communication with our students, our loved ones, our neighbors, and communication boards are a good resource. Why? It's because they also, when somebody has the opportunity to communicate their thoughts, their needs, it decreases the anxieties and sometimes some negative behaviors that we might be subject to, because they have a message that they otherwise can't get out. Communication boards create opportunities for learning, for more awareness, inclusion, that sort of thing. So I want you all, as a takeaway, feel free, experiment, try something different. If it doesn't work, don't always think the textbook representation is what you're going to replicate at home or in the office. See what works for you. See what works for the for your communication board user. And I am a firm believer, once your head and your heart are in it, you're going to find a solution. There'll be a resolution, and communication and connection will happen. So thanks for tuning in. Much thanks to my friend Laurisa. And till we meet again, take care.